So DWAYNE TYREE, did I get that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Tyree. So thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me.
So you're in the DMV area. You're a performing artist, a music performing artist and recording artist.
Yes.
And
professional drummer.
Awesome, awesome. So tell me a little bit more about yourself and what you've been up to.
First of all, I'd like to thank God for putting me in this place, and thank you for having me. I started out the age of about 8 years old. That's when I really fell in love with drums, and it's a funny story because I used to watch Hee Haw, the Hee Haw show, and I used to watch those guys play those instruments, and I say, the drums look easy to play. So from that point to now, I mean, I just fell in love with drums. And then I took a few lessons in school. My grandmother played piano, my father played guitar, and my brother plays guitar. And I just fell in love with the drums. And from there, I just played drums, try to get that craft, get my craft up, and work with a lot of artists. But before that, I did a little bit of studio work with some guys in Silver Spring. And they were doing remixes and stuff for big artists. And they asked me to play some percussion. I said, wow, let me see what I can get a beat or something. I knew nothing about house music, nothing. And they said, well, just give me something on 4/4. I said, well, I know 4/4. So start beating. And they said, we like that. Put some more stuff into it, So I put more stuff in, and then they said, what else do you play? I said, I play drums. I play a little bit keyboard, a little bit guitar, a little bit bass. So this one guy came out and he said, you play drums? Come to the basement for a minute. So he put on a probably about a 5-minute demo track and asked me to follow this. So now he's testing me to see if I know how to play with a click track. And I played everything just like he wanted to. And he said, hey, you want to join my group? And this band came out of Silver Spring. And I said, well, let me see what else do you have, See, you just don't want to tell somebody I want to join your group. So he put on some nice music. And I said, yeah, I want to join your group. And from there, we played for a long time. We played different clubs, New York, Miami, around. And then I got a hold of some other guys, and I started getting into professional, going on the road and touring with these big acts. One act from DC, the Clovers, they made Love Potion #9. I went on the road with them for about 7 years, and still doing studio work with other groups and stuff like that. But it was a great experience, working with these guys. It was hard too, because you're kind of coming out and you're really not at their standards, but they kind of bring you up to their standards. So it's a lot of work.
And they're taking a chance on you.
Oh, yeah. But if it's inside of you to do it, you'll do it, and that's what brought me kind of like in my midways of playing. And after I got my craft up, got my work and stuff going on, then I started playing with some 70 groups. I think the first 70 group I played with it was either Eddie Holman or Billy Paul. I want to say might have been Billy Paul. I did a gig with Billy Paul. So then I started saying, I'm starting getting into the big league. Then my second one was Eddie Holman, the guy who made Hey There Lonely Girl. And I started that. And then I backed up and went and started playing house music again with this group Morale. And I stayed with them for another term. I came back as a percussionist. I left as a drummer, came back as a percussionist because they wanted the feel, they wanted that background, they wanted the vocals. So I helped them out with that. And then everybody kind of like branched out. They started doing bigger things. He was doing stuff for Madonna. He was doing stuff for Janet Jackson. He was also doing stuff for Mariah Carey.
Okay.
Yeah, he branched out. And then I came back with him and done some stuff for a group over in Europe, Everything But the Girl. I did the conga tracks on that.
I've heard it. Yeah, Everything But the Girl. Yeah, I've heard of them.
Yeah, I did the conga tracks on that. And then I lucked up and got with some other guys in the area, and then they turned me on to who was I playing with? C-Bond's project. And while I was working with C-Bond's project, I ran across Gene Chandler, the Duke of Earl. Yeah.
Okay.
And when I ran across him, he took me in as his drummer. So I've been playing with him now for 24 years.
Still
Still today.
Wow.
Yes.
The guy, so who originally did the track, Duke of Earl?
Yes.
Gene Chandler.
Yeah, Gene Chandler, the Duke of Earl. Yes.
Because and so it's funny connection because I'm an '80s kid, but Cypress Hill, I think, sampled Duke of Earl for one of their tracks.
Yeah, a lot of people sampled his songs. He had a lot of songs out.
Yeah.
You know, him and Jerry Butler, they all, work together. And we used to tour together a lot.
Yeah. I wish I remember the name of that Cypress Hill track. Cypress Hill, definitely, because I remember. And then, so see, back then I was really, just for a couple of years when Cypress Hill and House of Pain and Ice Cube went solo, they always had a DJ. It was always DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. It was Run DMC and they had a DJ.
Right.
And then I saw, some white kids making music like House of Pain and Cypress Hill with white DJs. So I bought like some real broken turntables, and I was really trying to experiment, and I just could never get the hang of it. But what started, kind of piquing my interest in music, at least a little bit, was, these samplings and how, Run DMC, had a huge hit by sampling Walk This Way, almost doing like a hip hop remake of that. But then Cypress Hill, sampled Duke of Earl, and I would do some investigating, and I would try to the best we could back then. We didn't have Wikipedia or Google back then, but try to. And my mom was like, "Oh, that's that song Duke of Earl. It's a big '50s or '60s hit." And I'm like, "Wow, these musicians, these hip hop artists that get a bad rap for just being, back then, they were getting a bad rap for just being, street trash or scumbags or whatever. But these guys know a lot about music."
Of course.
And to take hits or things that they were into as a kid, 60s and 70s. I mean, look at what P. Diddy did with sampling so many 70s and 80s tracks, and Dr. Dre did, taking a lot of samples for the first Chronic album, and even for, a lot of NWA stuff. But not to take away from the fact that you worked with that guy. I didn't mean to go off on a tangent about, the Duke of Earl, but so
I've worked with a lot of those big groups. I worked with the Temptations also in Germany, Croatia. We did London. We did Austria. I did a lot of stuff over in overseas with Temptations. And
that's the joy of these gigs is that there's travel and there's visiting just different countries and different cultures, but it's all kind of bound by, in my realm is more film and TV, but it's all bound by film and entertainment and art and music. And,
regardless of what you do, you're going to come back to the foundation. And a lot of those groups out there now is heading that way. They're coming back. More and more, you're hearing more of the music side of it instead of all of that whip bop doop stuff going on. It drives you crazy. You don't even understand what they're saying.
You're right.
But the new generation, that's what it is. I mean, that's what they're gearing to. So, but I'm going to stick with what I know, you know, and what works now. And what I found out that's working now is house music. And I have a lot of house tracks out there. Matter of fact, I think one came out today, I think. Starlight on King's Records. That's one of the top records in the States and UK. King's is a big record label. I have quite a few big record labels that I've done some tracks for. And I constantly do tracks. I try to do one try to put out one every month, but probably do one every week or so. But sometimes you find yourself you're working all day on one song and it's still not what you're looking for, because it's a certain sound you're looking for. So you're working all day on it, and then at the end of the day, I erase the whole thing.
Right.
And then sometimes I can go down in 15 minutes. Everything I need, I can put it together. So you have those days. I mean, that's the way it works.
Where
So,
sometimes you're your own worst critic, and sometimes you can be your own worst boss. You know, like you said, you spent days or weeks on a track and you just deleted it, like forget it.
And it works. It works crazy in the house world, because sometimes I put a song together and to me, I say, don't sound right. And I just send it out for a test. And it's like the biggest thing. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I thought this was some trash to myself.
Yeah.
And because you never know what people like, and that's why you try to stay in a box kind of sort of thing with you with your music. You don't want to go everywhere with it, because people get used to you making soulful house music. That's what they want you to do. They don't want you to go all over here try to do trance and do all this. And nah, we like you to stay where you was at, because that's where your best music at.
Sure. Yeah.
So I try to stay in that box with deep house, and soulful house, and new disco. Some people don't even know what that is yet. So it's kind of hard, especially the fans here. I put music out and they say, that sounds like some of that disco stuff used to be out in the 70s and 80s and stuff. They don't understand it. But I try to go ahead, use it.
Well, you know, I'll agree to an extent, but also at the same time, you know, a lot of the retro stuff is coming back, and a lot of people are really appreciating, you know, the old 80s sound and the old 70s disco sound, and you know, with some of my colleagues, I'm like, you know, you gotta add a little bit of that old with a little bit of the new, and you know, Kanye was bringing back a lot of old 80s stuff, and you know, I think it was you know, Bruno Mars was bringing back a lot of 60s and 70s kind of sound with that producer he was working with. I can't remember the name of the producer.
Something Brown, I thought.
But Mark Brown.
I think it's Mark Brown. Yes, I think
it's not James Brown. Mark Brown. I think it might be
Mark. Yes.
And you know, did that track. Oh my God. Anyway, that huge track that Bruno Mars did, you know, and it had that very old 60s, 70s, you know, Temptations type of Earth, Wind and Fire type of sound, you know.
Oh yeah. You had them nice horns and that stuff going on.
You know, big band type of stuff too, because those groups had a huge ensemble behind them.
Oh yeah.
And then, you know, with the 80s, it was all down to like, you know, anywhere between a 2 and a 4-man group, with synths and a lot of, you know, electrical stuff. But yeah, I mean, you know, maybe we're not used to the word new disco, but I'm sure we're going to eat it up in the next year.
Yeah. You'll hear, because that's what I'm stuck, because a lot of my fans, 90% of my fans are in Europe. And then I have a few. Baltimore is kind of good on house too. They bigger than everywhere else. And then you have Miami, and then you have West Coast. So it's kind of hard, but everybody has their own way of doing their house music.
Right.
And Chicago have their way of doing it, just like we have our way of doing it. And we try to mix it up and try to make it come together as one, but it's hard to do that because you have this crowd doing this, you have this crowd doing this, and you got this big gap of music in between. And then you have you got what they call it, slow tempo house. You got it's just too much going on at one time, and then there's a million labels out there. It's too much.
And there's like a million of subgenres within subgenres within subgenres, and
Right.
it's you can't keep up. And so like I'll put on Pandora, or I'll put on Alexa, and I'll just say EDM,
Right.
because I'm kind of a fan of just all kind of subgenres, all kind of sounds of EDM, and I might prefer house and trance over dubstep. But there might be that rare dubstep track that I love, but then someone's like, that's new wave, or that's
Right.
house, or that's new house, and I'm like, okay, I don't care, like I like it, I can
like what you like. That's
you're
what
right.
it is.
Exactly.
You like what you like. Yeah, but it's so much out there.
Yeah.
And when you get into these, they used to call them raves back in the day.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh my God, man. It's like people just eat that stuff all night long. I'm talking to 5 and 6 o'clock in the morning. They dancing nonstop. I'm like, wow.
The drugs help.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, because they be on them. They definitely be on them.
Not everybody. Some people are really there just for the music, and they can dance all night just to that music. But
yeah,
some of the other ones, they're probably on drugs.
Of course, because they had a whole box of them outside of the club that they take from the people that try to get in the clubs with the drugs,
Right.
And you just have to watch yourself. I don't drink or drugs, so a lot of people use me to do shows and stuff because if they're looking for somebody to be on time, they say, okay, I know a drummer that's on time. I know a drummer that can play. I know a drummer that I can depend on. So when you got all that stuff into one, that's how you get hired. And I try to tell the young guys this, they have all these fancy roles they doing, all them, blah, 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 blah. And I say, that's fine. But when you playing the kind of music I'm playing, you don't need that.
Right.
You have to stay in the pocket because you have vocalists that's out front. And you can't run over top of the vocalists. It's their show, not ours. We just playing behind them. And they don't understand it. Why can't you get no gigs like that? Because you don't play in the pocket. They want pocket drummers. That's why James Brown, DC have some of the best drummers out there. When we go to California, everybody look for the DC drummers on the stage because they say, oh man, the DC drummers gonna stay. They're gonna eat us alive because we stay here. Now we had within, I'm just gonna say 2 miles in a block, we had Miles Davis drummer. We had EU drummer, Juju. We have Heat Wave drummer, Spoon. And then we had myself. All of this is in a box. We all around the same area. I mean, you can literally throw a rock at each one, but we had some of the best musicians come out of DC. When George Clinton come, he picks his guys up from DC because this is where it's at. We know how to hold that pocket, besides what's going on with the go-go thing. We have real drummers here. So everybody come to DC, they use our drummers, they use our guitar players and stuff, but mainly the drummers. They use a lot of drummers from here because we hold that pocket.
And look, every once in a while, you're going to get that opportunity. You're going to get that opportunity for that drum solo.
Oh yeah. But you got to know when to take it.
You got to know when to take it. But it's not going to be the whole track, every track. Right. And I mean, there's moments for that guitar solo. There's moments for that drum solo.
Right.
And it's like you're absolutely right. And I think you're just you phrase it differently, but it's a collaboration. You know, it's teamwork, it's collaboration, and it's like it's not just about the drummer, it's not just about, you know, okay, in some circumstances it might just be about the singer, mostly about the singer, you know, if it's depending on the artist. But if it's a band, you know, it's the band, really it's about the band, you know, and like there's that moment for that guitar solo, there's a moment for that you know, for that high note from the singer, there's a moment for that drum solo, you know.
That's right. Everybody has to be, but you, until then, you stay in your place.
Right.
You know, because you can't go crazy back there, or you won't have another gig with that artist. You know, it's too many drummers out there to just let you mess up a show. So they say, well, I'll try the other drummer, or I'll bring this drummer, or I'll do this drummer, or whatever. It's the whole business is, I don't know. It's hard to say. You know, you have some good people out there, some good artists, and you have some bad artists. A lot of times you work with bad artists, they don't really know what they want.
Right.
They know that they're missing something, but they can't tell you what it is. And that's what's strange about it. It's like, no, it's a beat that I want. It's something like Marvin Gaye's beat, but you know, and then you say, well, this beat right here, that's something like that. See,
yeah,
it's hard to work with artists. That's why we let the artist stay in his place, and we always have a MD on the stage. The MD will tell me what he wants. He said, nah, we're gonna do it this way, blah, 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 blah. So if something comes down, you got to go to the MD because he told me to play it like this. So that's how we keep it. Yeah, absolutely. And I have to lock with the bass player. Bass player, drummer always have to lock because we're the bottom. No matter what happens in the group, we need to stay together. And everybody else play in between or around us. And they have to understand that, you know, but, you know, a lot of guys don't understand that in the music business. They just play what they know and hurry up and get the show over with, and they want money.
Yeah.
When you get in the big league, it ain't like that. You know, everybody's looking at you. When you start playing in front of 10 and 20,000 people, it's a different. You play harder, and you know, 45 minutes seem like 3 hours.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you be sweating because there's so much pressure. You got 6 bands, 4 drummers, and every drummer is looking at you play. And you know how people talk. They say, "Oh man, this guy, he, you know, or that guy, or this guy." You know, everybody has something to say about the drummer. I had a professional drummer come to me out in California one time and say, "Man, you're a bad boy, but why you play so hard?" And I'm looking at him like, you know, what do you say to this guy? You don't want to hurt his feelings, because I know how he plays, and he plays timid. But I have to play what the artist want. That's why he want me to play hard behind him. So I have to do what he say, you know, because I'm working for him. He ain't working for me. But they don't understand that. They're on the outside looking in.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But I love it. I've been doing it a long time.
So I take it the recording studio is fully equipped.
Yeah, well, it's MIDI, but I got everything I need to do my recordings, you know. And I'm gonna add more stuff as I go.
Yeah.
You know, but at this point, everything is slowing down for the pandemic that's going on. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just recording day after day after day after day. You know, some days I have to step away because you burn out. But and I'm coming up with some good stuff, because there's so much built up inside of you right now because you're being isolated. So when a person back is against the wall, that's when they shoot the best fire. So that's what I feel like now. So I'm writing and putting some good tracks down. Yeah, putting some good stuff down there. And the record companies, they like it. You know, so far King is liking everything I put out, and they have some top-notch people out there. You know, yesterday I just got a little clipping. Yesterday the guy told me, man, you put out some good S-H-I-T. I was like, whoa, this coming from him. And he have this platform thing where he shoot these things to it's a promo. And he shoot things to the DJs and stuff for feedback, and nothing but good feedback on, oh, I'm gonna play this track, oh, I'm gonna take this track, oh, I'm gonna drop this track, I'm gonna do this, and it's nothing but good feedback on. So everybody wants me to do remixes and stuff for them now, but I don't want to spread myself like that right now. I just want to stay within the record company that's treating me well. Yeah. So, you know, right now, because I know they don't want me dropping other stuff with other labels like that, and then it might be that one that shoots up and isn't, man, we could have had that one.
Right.
So as long as they've been good to me, I'm gonna be good to them.
Absolutely.
So I'm gonna stay, yeah. I'll stay with King for now.
Awesome. So is that's King Records, huh?
Yeah, King Record Sound. It's out of New York. It's one of the biggest labels out there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Some big people out there on that.
Awesome. So I'm glad to hear that you're staying busy and staying productive and working. Essentially teleworking the drums, right?
Yeah, I'm doing that and teaching my wife to play drums too.
Fantastic.
She shocked me one time. I was playing outside at a fair, and I left the drums for a second and went to, I think, to the car to get a drum key or something, and I heard a beat, doom ta doom ta doom. I look up on the drums, it's her. I said, man, she might can play. Let me see what's going on here. So she came to me and said she want to learn how to play drums. So I'm going to teach her how to play the drum. Yeah.
If there's any artist that you could work with right now, alive, who would that be?
Mother's Finest. Mother's Finest. That's been my favorite group since the 70s. And my next favorite group would have been Toto.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, I love Toto. I love Journey. All those groups like that. I love that music. Journey.
I mean, Journey, Foreigner,
Foreigner, yeah.
Boston, but like Toto of all people.
Toto, oh my God, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did you think of Weezer's cover of Africa?
I really can't get into it right now.
A little harder, it was a little harder, and I kind of appreciated it. Like there's nothing wrong with a cover every once in a while,
Right. I mean, yeah, but me, I'm original. I like the original players. I mean, that would probably be my top 4 groups there: Mother's Finest and Toto, Journey, and maybe Foreigner. Put Foreigner in there. They did some good stuff too. It's a lot of groups out there I like, but those are my top groups there, especially Mother's Finest. They blew me away. I mean, to this day, when I first heard them, it was at the Capitol Center years ago.
Oh yeah, the Capitol Center. If it was at the Capitol Center, it was
years ago. And they came out on that stage, and I said, "Wow, who are these guys? They bad," because they had that funk rock type of thing going on. Yeah.
Yeah. Capitol Center. That's what, Verizon Center now?
No, it's nothing now. They knocked it down, and it's it was a mall. They call it the Capitol Boulevard, but I don't even think it's nothing over there now.
Oh, okay.
They knocked everything down. But Verizon Center, was downtown. Okay. That was in DC.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm confused then. I mean, I'm only 40, but you remember Landover Mall?
Oh yeah.
Landover, I mean, that's like, yeah. Isn't that like secondary or tertiary parking for FedEx Field now?
Yes, but I don't even think they even park over there now. But
no,
yeah, I remember Landover Mall. I used to get clothes and shoes at Landover Mall. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody remember Landover Mall. You used to shop at Landover too, huh?
Years ago, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I married up, so now I'm over in Montgomery County because I married up.
Oh, okay. You in Silver Spring, right?
No, further north. Or is that north or
Because
west?
I work in Gaithersburg.
Yeah, I'm around there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's
I,
good.
I finally surpassed PG County.
Yeah, good old PG County. I came up
Yeah.
in PG County. Yeah.
Yeah.
Went to
Yeah.
school in PG County, high school PG County. Yeah. Then I moved away, went to New Orleans for a while to learn, music, and went to Mississippi for a while, and then came back to DC area
Okay. Then
uh, to hear some more go-go. And they say, why you don't want to play go-go music? We started out playing go-go music. We was probably one of the first go-go groups in Maryland. And around 1986, I stopped playing go-go.
stopped.
They stopped playing go-go because
Okay.
they were fighting and stuff. I came back here and it was a whole total different thing they were doing.
Totally different go-go crowd. Yeah. Yeah.
Music got crazy. They were holding up signs and they were shooting and people taking jewelry off people's necks. I don't want to be around that. So
Yeah.
I bounced from that go-go, and at that time, the group I was with, they put a song on, Icy Hot. That was the name of the group I was playing with, Icy Hot. And I just, the leader of the group, I taught him how to play guitar, and he ended up playing guitar for the group and saxophone. Then I just had to break away from that. No more go-go for me. Y'all work the drummers all night, all night.
Yeah, yeah. I was going to ask you about go-go. I mean, if you're a drummer in the DC area, yeah. But I mean, I get it. That makes sense. I was probably in middle school in the early '90s, and I mean, it was a big thing with my friends. But needless to say, I had maybe a few tapes that some friends would give me, but I was, I guess, too young and probably wouldn't have survived the scene maybe if I was old enough to go out there. But you never know. But yeah, I mean, I'm familiar with it, and being in the DC Guard, a lot of the DC National Guard, a lot of the guys still listen to it. The common joke is that, do people still listen to go-go? And of course they do. I mean, it's
different. It's different now. Yeah, it's different. They took it to a whole nother level. They said something like bounce beat. But by me being a drummer, to me, it's not bounce beat. New Orleans have the bounce beat.
Mm-hmm.
If you listen to people like what is it, Big Frida and those people down there like that, they have the real bounce beat. DC have sort of a bounce beat, but it's something else. I don't know what you can call it, but it's not that bounce beat. Beyonce do a little bit of bounce beat. That's bounce beat. This stuff here is more like jungle music.
Mm-hmm.
It's like rototoms and tom-toms and stuff, and you lose the one. The one goes somewhere else. And I'm like, I'm just no. I can't get with it.
Right. No,
I'm used to a pocket. Go with that pocket like Trouble Funk used to have. That was my favorite go-go group, Trouble Funk, and my favorite go-go drummer was a guy that used to be with EU. He's no longer with us, Butch Lewis. He was the best drummer for EU that I can remember. Yeah, I mean, he just had it locked for that group.
Yeah.
But and there's some good drummers out there that play that go-go stuff. It's just that I just prefer not to do it. It's all night, basically the same thing. And no, I don't even know if those guys even get paid well, to do that all night long.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good, and there's been a lot of critique lately about, like who's making money on YouTube anymore with music and online and live performances. And there's got to be, you know, that's probably just like the side hustle as far as, you know, I mean, God bless them, they're musicians and they're doing it and they do what they love, but
Right.
what is, you know, I don't know. It's like you raise a good question. Like, how much is someone getting, you know, to drum or to play keyboards
Right.
for, you know, like you know, for a DC go-go band, you know?
And then they use that for a full-time job. You know, as long as I've been drumming, I had a 9 to 5 because when you stop drumming, the bills keep going.
Yeah.
So the bills got to be paid. So
Yeah.
I always kept a 9 to 5. You got to be smart when you're doing this stuff, and you're not playing. When you're relying on the public like that, you got to have a 9 to 5 because as soon as the public drop out, your money drop out. Then
Hmm.
where you gonna get your income from? And you don't bought a house, you got a new car, and so how you gonna pay for that?
Yeah.
So that's what's going on now with the go-go. Now they have a fund that if you want to contribute to a fund or something with the go-go groups to help them out. And a lot of the go-go guys, I mean, it's really sad. Most of them, when they pass, they have a GoFund.
Yeah.
They don't have any money, no insurance, no nothing. They just
Mm.
every week go out and play, and you know your health go down. You got to see the doctor. You got to keep yourself going, you know, because that road can beat you up.
Yeah.
You know, you don't get your proper sleep. You're not eating right. You know, you're eating fast food and stuff. You got to keep yourself going when you're out there on the road. When you go back, make sure you get a checkup. Make sure everything is going on with you. Those guys don't do that because you see them one year, they looking decent. Next year, they missing a few teeth and stuff. You don't go out in the public like that. You
Yeah.
know, people. I like that guitar player with one tooth in his mouth. Hey, yeah. Oh man.
Right.
So do I get my teeth fixed or I pay my bills?
Right.
So that's where it's at. So you know, I mean that's why you know I thank God for putting me in my position. You know, where I could travel all across the world with these groups and still maintain a 9 to 5. So that's how it is. And then people wonder how you do that. Man, it's not easy to do this stuff. This is a hard business. It's nothing easy. It looks easy because you're just looking at it. But if you go behind the scene, you see a lot of different stuff, man. I mean, I've seen a lot of stuff the 40 years I've been out there. I've seen a lot of stuff
Yeah.
out there. And people say, well, how do you keep yourself from you don't, you know, you don't look your age. And I said, well, I have a son that's 37 years old and a daughter 35. And then, huh? So yeah, you got to keep yourself going. You got to keep yourself up, and it's not an easy thing when you on the road like that. You got to
Yeah.
make your appointments around the road.
Yeah. Yeah. And I tell a lot of people, and you know, I'm 40 plus, and a lot of people think, you know, I'm on my 30s.
Right,
You know, I get that sometimes, not all the time, but I get that sometimes. Oh, you don't look your age. And I think it just has to do with, you know, quality of life
right.
and
That's what
doing
I'm
what
going.
and doing what you love to do.
Right.
And I've talked about it on the show a million times. I mean, you'll be a millionaire at heart
Hmm.
if you do what you love to do. You know, there's guys that, you know, are in the military because that's all they know, and they look terrible,
Right, right.
and they look terrible, and they're younger than me.
Oh yeah,
And then there's, you know, there's guys, you know, that are billionaires and they look terrible,
yeah.
absolutely terrible. And then there's guys that, you know, like they do all right, you know, they've got a roof over their head, they might have a family or not, but they're doing what they love to do and they look great,
Right, right,
you
right.
know. And it's just like they're happy, you know, they're happy making music, or they're happy making films, or they're happy, you know, owning a small plumbing company, but it's just what they love to do,
Oh
and it
yeah.
satisfies them. And you know, it's the little things like that. And yeah,
That,
I mean,
that's
I wouldn't have pictured that you had kids almost my age. So
yeah, yeah. I mean, they always say. I said one thing: I don't drink or drug. because that
Yeah.
that puts a beating on your body.
Oh yeah.
When you smoke, well, I don't need all that stuff. I'm already hyped. So when I get out there, the people are my drugs. When I see that crowd, I'm a different person.
Yeah.
I just give them what they want. They always happy. Boom. You talk, you chit chat, you go to your room, you chill, you catch your plane back home the next day. Boom. You don't hang out all night. And, you don't do that scene like that.
Yeah.
But when I work with Gene, he don't tolerate that. That's we can't do none of that stuff. I mean, even though we don't do it, but he's everything by the book. And
Yeah.
because he's professional and he want, if you with him, you got to act just like he act, professional. So he don't want all that stuff. Sound check time come. If it's at 12 o'clock, I need you there 11:30, and we've been doing this for 20 something years, man. So that's why we're able to stay together and bond, because I've been with him probably longer than any musician since he started his career, because I know what he want, I know what he expect, and we support each other. If he needs something, I give it to him. If I need something, he give it to me. So we have that understanding on what it is that we're here to accomplish. We're here to work. That's what, he said, hey, we going to work. That's what he called it. We going to work. This is what I expect. This is what I want you to do. Sound check. I want you to do this. Check this out. Bam, bam, bam. And we do these things. Sometimes he don't even come to sound check because he believes in us that much that we're going to do what we there for to do, what we come to do. So then he'll come in later and say, how did it go? And we say, if there's a weak point, we say, everything is good, but we got to keep our eye on that person.
Yeah.
That person, and we lift them up, because when you scream at people, you're not going to get that job done. They really don't even want to work with you.
Mm-hmm.
But and you make them uncomfortable when you put pressure on somebody on the stage like that. You make them uncomfortable, because when their turn come for them to do something, their mind is so messed up about you hollering at them, they don't even play it right, and then they don't want to play it. You got to make everybody feel good about what you're doing, like a family on the stage.
Yeah.
I jam. I don't know if you've seen my thing with Gene Chandler. We was at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I jammed with different people. We had Peter Frampton's keyboard player. We had Billy Joel's old drummer. We had the guy that used to play with Joan Jett. What's the name? The Black Hearts or what? Joan Jett.
Yeah, I think it was the Blackhearts.
Yeah, it was a collaboration of a whole bunch of people, and we ate that stage up because everybody was professional, and we never seen each other in life or anything, but when we came together to rehearse that 20 minutes, we put everything together like we were a band. And if you would have saw us up on the stage, you would say, man, this band is good, but we really wasn't a group.
Right.
They just put us together, and it turned out well.
Because even within the system, it might not make 9 o'clock headline news or anything, but within your system, people know what DWAYNE TYREE is about.
Oh yeah.
And people know what Peter Frampton's keyboardist is about, and they know you keep it in the pocket, and they're like, okay, I know I can work with him. Let's jam out. I know I can work with the keyboardist. Let's jam out. And it's like, I've never met this guy before in my life, but I know, say in my case, I know, he's the first AD for Oliver Stone for 10 years. I've never met with him, never worked with him, but I know I can work with him. I know I can work with him because I know he did this, and this to a certain standard. It wasn't, it wasn't on this film. It wasn't with this director. It was with this director, and he's done this, and I know he's got a formula. I've never met him a day in my life, but I know he's got that formula. where he will fit into this slot, and then this director of photography, this cinematographer will fit in this slot, and this sound guy will fit in this slot. Never worked with him before in my life, but boom, I know out the gate we're going to get a great film performance, you know, whatever the case may be. Yeah.
Because sometimes when you know a little bit about a person, or a person that played with that person or whatever, you can kind of get a feel of where they're going. And when you do a sound check, you can kind of feel where they're going. I mean, professional is professional.
Yeah.
You should be able to play with, you know, everybody unless they overplay. And when you overplay, I don't call that playing. You know, you're doing something else. When you stay in that box and you can feel each other. I mean, we felt each other from the jump. You know, they looked at me and he looked at the bass player, the keyboard player, and we said, okay, this thing sounds good. We're gonna rock this.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. We got together and then we shook hands and everybody exchanged numbers and stuff at the end. I mean, it's like, wow, man, you know, it's just a good experience. I mean, I've done a lot of great shows, you know, with a lot of great, you know, acts. People had #1 hits and stuff like that. And it's the way I just carry myself when I do these things. I don't try to be big headed about it or anything. I just play with them because this is something I always wanted to do. Now you're doing it, do your thing. You know, you got a lot of people, I ain't say a lot, but you got people out there, they've been playing for a long time. I mean, 30, 40 years, and then they wonder why I can't get a shot with nobody. You know, sometimes it's the places you be, sometimes it's the connections, and it's just a lot with this. Your attitude. Sometimes it's somebody tell you to do a certain chord, and you say, "Well, why he trying to tell me how to play my guitar?" See, that's the wrong attitude. That's why you can't get no work.
Right.
You know, you have to be open because that's like any job. You can apply for a job, but when you get on a job, you're gonna have to work it the way they want you to work, not the way you want to work it. Because you're qualified. And that's where these musicians mess up at. They stay in this box where I played with Stevie Wonder, so this is the way I'm gonna play. I don't care what he say. This is how this thing goes. But that's not how he wanted. And that's how you're not gonna get a job, man, because he's your boss or she's your boss, and you need to play like she wants you to, or he wants you to. Just like I played behind Martha Reed and the Vandellas. She's a I don't know how you want to call it, but she shake a tambourine better than anybody in life. And she has that Motown shake. So we were doing one of her songs and I was playing the beat, but it wasn't the beat that she was looking for. Only thing she did was turn around and say, I want you to play this Motown beat, you know, back to back to boot, 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 boot. I didn't give her no lip like, I played it like this is the way the song went. I played it the way she told me to play it because I'm working for her. And see, that's how you get another job, because you say, well, I can hire this drummer here because I don't have no problem up. I asked him to do something, he do it. He don't give me no lip about, hey, I played with James Brown. I'm the best drummer around here. Whatever. So
you're not playing with James Brown right now. So
that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying. See, they stay in that box. I played with this person for 30 years. Don't show me how to play this. You know, I played with George Clinton for this amount of time. Don't tell me how to play this. Well, you need to go back with George Clinton because we ain't gonna have that here.
Yeah. I mean, and in my arena, you know, like at the end of the day, the most important thing is the film.
Right.
It's not the director's ego. You know, the screenwriter already wrote the script. The director's in charge of getting that script, getting his vision of that script done. Me as an actor, me as an AD, you know, it's not like, listen, you know, this is how it's done. Well, you know, it might be done differently, you know, but at the end of the day, the most important outcome, obviously, is everyone getting paid, but at the end of the day, the most important outcome is completing the film and making a good film.
Right. That's what it's about.
And you got egos from, you know, cinematographers, you got bad attitudes from maybe ADs or production managers or associate producers. At the end of the day, the executive producer and the producers hired a director for a reason. The writer wrote the script, so that's done. You know, as an actor, they hired you to act and play a role, but you're going to be directed. And a director is going to be directed by a producer. You know, in other words, the director is going to be produced.
That's right. That's
so true. You know, there's this intermingling, but it's not like, oh no, I'm only going to act one way, and it's like you can't do that. And you know, if you know, director says, you know, shoot it this way, just shoot it that way. You know, and you know, things of that. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is the movie.
Right.
And so in your case, yeah, there is a leader of the band, or there's a music director or whatever. So
here's my wife, the drummer.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
He said, "How you doing?"
Good. Good.
All right.
Yeah, that's how they do it these days. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, just listen to what someone has to offer you to try to help you to get through the scene or whatever that you're doing. And sometimes people just want to do it their way, and a lot of times it don't work that way.
Right. Yeah. So what's next on the agenda? What's the next set of goals for DWAYNE TYREE? Say the next 6 months.
The next 6 months, hopefully I want to be out playing again, you know, and doing some shows. I'm always going to be doing some recordings because that's in my heart now. But getting back out on the road and doing some shows, trying to get back over in the UKs and stuff like this so I can drop some other stuff over there for them. Yeah. That's basically it, you know, just keeping up with the music. I have some opportunities, different opportunities to go on the road right now with another group. But we'll see how that goes. Right now, you know, nobody's rehearsing or doing anything right now, so we may have to start from scratch when this let up.
Yeah.
But I want to hurry up and get back on the road. I mean, hoping that this too should pass, but I mean, I think it's going to be here for a minute, but still, I want to get back out on the road and entertain the people, because I miss the people. I miss my crowd. I miss people smiling. I'm an entertainer. I like to make people smile. Even if I don't make that much money, if I see people out just smiling, I know I've done my job.
Yeah.
And that's what I like to do. I want to go back out and entertain for people, you know, and enjoy it. That's my life. That's just like me taking medicine. I gotta have it in me, you know.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, make people feel good. When you make people feel good, they make other people feel good. You know, because if you got one bad apple in the bunch, most time people try to take it out of it. You know, get that bad apple out there, because we like what's going on here. But when you got a whole bunch of bad apples in it spoils the bunch. So, you know, most likely, I'm looking at next year, probably coming back out. This year, gigs been canceled. I had one gig in London, and then I had another gig around December. I think that was in Germany, and they're canceled. So there it is. So I can start looking forward to next year, hopefully to get out and do some stuff. You know, I've done cruise ship gigs and stuff like that. I've done all sorts of gigs, but I just want to do some stuff that make people happy, because everybody's kind of depressed right now because of the pandemic and, you know, the virus going on. People don't know what's going to happen today. They don't know if they're going to be working tomorrow. They don't. So when this lets up a little bit enough where we can get out and do a few gigs and stuff like that, I think people will be a little happy. I think we'll come together a little more.
Yeah, and I think there's going to be that extra appreciation. I mean, I live for set life,
yes.
But you know, like you said, you know, it's shut down, it's closed off right now. But when those floodgates open, you know, there's two possibilities. Either people are going to run rampant, and it's going to make the situation worse. And there might be like this ultra version of the coronavirus. But I think, you know, once we're back to performing, once we're able to get back together again, I think there's gonna, you're right, there's gonna be that extra tack, extra that extra topping of support and emotion and bonding, that it's going to be like this extra relief that people are really going to come together and hopefully it, you know, not just, you know, lash out, and because, you know, unfortunately we've seen a lot of that recently, but but I really hope that, you know, the general public just takes advantage of this opportunity to really come together when we can.
True.
and come even closer, not just, you know, physically and germ wise, but, you know, but we're like, you know, bonding and appreciation for everyone.
I think it will happen. I think that's a true statement you have. I think it will happen that way. I hope it will happen that way anyway. And I think this kind of taught people kind of like a little lesson about people. You don't take people for granted, because, you know, a lot of people out there lost loved ones behind this, you know, and it's not a game, you know. Put your mask on and do what you have to do, and let's see if the mask don't work. At least try it, because we don't know if it's airborne or whatever, you know. But if we can just get a grip on it to pull it back or put it to the side a little bit, I think when we open up those gates, I think we're gonna have an awesome time. I think it will be awesome.
Yeah. Well, you know, touching upon that, what would you say is your view of the new normal?
Right now, it's hard to say what's going on, but I would say most people will be more cautious of cleanness, and every time they do something, they're gonna wipe it down and stuff. I mean, this stuff taught a lot of people lesson, and I mean, it's not a joke. Some people really never wash their hands as much as they're washing it now.
Yeah.
Or, you know, or even being curious of doing different things that they're doing right now. They just looking like, oh, that's right, I got to do this, I got to do this. That's stuff they never done in their lifetime. But if we have to wear masks and stuff like that to make this thing work, I'm with it.
Yeah.
You know, I play drums all day with a mask on. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
Hey, if that's what they want to do, I hope it doesn't come to that. But I mean, whatever it is, it is. So we got to go ahead and do what we need to do to get this thing up off the ground, because a lot of people not working, you know, people losing stuff because they don't have any money. It's a lot of stuff come with this. I mean, I'm thinking about the cruise ship when we used to go into port. A lot of those people make a living off of us just coming into port, you know, and buying stuff and stuff. And them boats haven't been out there in a long time. What are those people doing? Yeah. It just goes beyond me, you know. I just try to help in any way I can help somebody to try to get past this. I will help them, but I'm only one person. I can't do everything for everybody. So that's what we got to do. We got to stick together and try to help each other get across the next hurdle. But every time we help that person get across the next hurdle, and then we look for the next person to help them, there's nobody there to catch them. So that brings them back down. So it's like, okay, I can help you pay your mortgage this month, but what's going to happen next month? I can't keep giving you money like this because I got to survive myself.
Right. Yeah. Of course.
So we hoping that this pandemic thing, you know, pass us just enough where we can get, because it's never going to go anywhere. It's going to be just like the flu. It's going to come back every year, but they have to just get a hand on top of it, just like they did with the flu. You know, you
Yeah.
go get your flu shot every year or whatever. And if we could do that, we all gonna be in a good place. People gonna be treating people. I think they're gonna be treating people a different way, which I think in a better way, uh, because I think this made everybody sort of come together as one.
Yeah.
Because it's people that you don't even know. They speak to you now. You're holding doors for people. Some people ain't never held a door open for nobody. They let it shut in your face. But now they open the doors for you, speak to you. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever. And I think we're going in the right direction.
No.
So that's where I think we're going to be. If we got to wear masks, that's fine.
I mean, it's just the small thing that we got to do, just like wearing a seatbelt.
Right.
You know, and it's just, you know, some people are very stubborn and selfish.
Right. That's true.
And I brought this up on the show before, that humans are inherently selfish, and they don't want to wear the mask. Oh, it's hard to breathe, and it's like, listen, man, you get the COVID, it's really going to be hard to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Then they want to go out there and see who can catch it first, and they win money, and so they playing with it like it's a game.
Yeah.
I'd be glad when it's over enough where we can get out and get some work done. You know, our work that we do. You know,
Yeah.
entertaining people and doing movies and stuff like that. And that's what I want to see come up for my new norm.
Yeah, I mean, are you doing like live streaming performances? You doing anything? No. Okay.
No, just sitting home, just putting the tracks together.
Yeah.
And you know, it's a lot of stuff that's coming my way down the pipe. I can take it or I can leave it. You know, It's just they send it to me. Hey, you want to do a remix on this, or you know, bam, 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 boom. If it's not in my genre, I don't even mess with it now. Not right now. I just tell them, not right now. I just don't say I don't want to mess with that, whatever you want to call the name. I just don't want to mess with it at this particular point. I'm just strictly staying with the soul stuff right now, because that's what's pushing, and that's where I'm geared to right now.
Yeah.
You know, later on when everything is over with, I'll do a track for you, a pop track or whatever track you want done for you. I will do it for you. But right now I'm just sticking to my guns right now. Doing the soulful house music and deep house and stuff like that. Just staying in that area. Because when you branch off like that, you kind of lose something on one side when you gain something on the other side. But I want to stay with the side that I have the most money on. So
sure. I mean, obviously that, but also I can't agree with you more. You know, you want to start branching out, and you could spread yourself too thin,
right.
and then you know,
the
from
deadlines come in where you have to, hey, I'm supposed to have that done last week.
Yeah.
Or this, and then your concentration is not focused.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to do this, you're trying to do this, you're trying to do that. Now I got 9 genres in here that I need to complete. Now how you gonna do that in one mind?
Yeah. And so yeah, there was one year where, you know, like I added acting on to the repertoire, and that was to get me on set and network. And then I was able to network, and I was able to, you know, then get some more crew work from some of the people that I networked with. But then it was like, okay, well, what's going on YouTube? You know, okay, let's start a podcast. And then, you know, a lot of people are live streaming their video game plays. Let me do that. And then, you know, let's do live stream of DJ performances. Let's do that. And then, you know, started spreading myself out too thin. And then it's like, you know, maybe if I would just focus on 2, you know, at one point, you know, there's people out there that are doing 17 different things, and by doing 17 different things, they struck gold at one thing.
Right.
But also on the flip side, it's like you really kind of have to focus and narrow down on one to, maybe 3 at the most things, and
Right,
make and really harness, really focus, sharpen your edge with those
right,
couple of the few things. And that is, and you got to find your niche, your
right,
niche, your niche,
right,
whatever. You have to find that. And so obviously you need to experiment,
right.
with a number of different things, and so after time, clearly you found your sound, and you
Oh
found
yeah,
your niche, and I feel like, I found a niche with a couple of things, acting and specific character roles too. It's like, law enforcement and military roles. I tell people all the time, please, by all means, typecast me. But maybe I found a niche with this podcast, and I've, this is number 55. For my episodes, your episode here is number 55 for me, and I'm kind of getting some viewership, and I'm building that, and I might find a niche. If this doesn't work out, maybe there's something else I got to find and work on and fine tune and kind of, find that one lane where I'm soaring, and it's tricky.
but see, when you put your all into it and it doesn't work, it doesn't bother you because you've done your best.
Yeah.
But when you half do something and it don't work, that's when it upsets you because you say, well, I ain't really put out what I should have put inside of. That's why when I grab something, I try to put 100% in.
Yeah.
Because if it fails, I know I'm not going to be bothered by it because I've done the best I could do.
Yeah.
But when you haven't done your best and it fails, that's when it bothers you.
Because, failures are just learning lessons.
That's all it is.
That's all it is. Because to half-ass something, like you said, I know not only did I not do my best, I wasted my time. I can get money back. I can fix things and I can make money back, but I can't get time back. And that time spent where I half-assed or, just wasted my time, I can't get that back.
That's true.
Yeah. If there's one last bit of advice that you'd want to, put out there to what few viewers I do have, but I'm building my viewers up. But if there was one last bit of advice you want to put out there, what would that be?
My best advice for anybody is just whatever you're doing, whether it's music or whether it's film or whatever, just do the best that you can do. And whatever you can't do, if you come to that point, give it to God. Put it in God's hand, and He'll direct you, your path, wherever you needed to go or wherever you needed to be. Almighty God will help you and put you in place where you need to be. Just stay with it. If you don't stay with it, then it's nobody's fault but yours because you didn't stay with it. You got to stay. If you're going to get into something, you got to stay and be truthful with it and take it as far as you can take it. And that's the advice I can give you. That's it.
Fantastic. Well, DWAYNE TYREE, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show and sharing with us, your years of experience. And it was just a great conversation, a lot of great points, a lot of great stories, a lot of great advice. Any socials, links, plugs you want to put out there?
Well, I have a Beatport. I'm on every social media. So the only thing they need to do is just type in my name, DWAYNE W. Tyree, DWAYNE W, and then Tyree, TYREE. When you type that in or Google me, everything will pop up. All my music and everything will pop up. And I can do a shout out for my email, right?
Sure. Yeah. If you're comfortable with that, yeah.
Yeah, I'm good. Hey, and if you need to email me, just email me at showtime461@hotmail.com. Showtime 461@hotmail.com. That's it.
All right. Well, you mentioned beatport.com, and if you go there, DWAYNE W. Tyree, and you mentioned last. So I'm sorry, you were saying?
I'm sorry. Track Source, Amazon, any media, social media thing that's out there, platform, you can buy my music there. any of them.
Well,
I'm all around.
Absolutely. Well, links are in the description below if you want to check out all of Dwayne's links and all his tracks and all his platforms. To my viewers, I hope I've earned the privilege of your time and your viewership. I know my guest has, and check it and check us out next time. Thanks again, Dwayne.
All right. Thank you. Take care.